weekend on a trail last Sunday. A few of my friends and I went up there and we broke a lot of stuff. One of the guys broke a chromoly front axle shaft. I broke my front ring and pinion, so I'm kind of at a crossroads right now on what I'm going to do with my Jeep, whether it means the end of my season or whether I'm going to try to get this thing back up and running and salvage what I can out of the season. The reason I say I'm kind of at a crossroads because I'm hoping to build a new axle. It's just going to be another Dana 30, and I know that's usually not a good idea, especially the way we've been wheeling lately. However, it's going to have some beefed up brackets on it. I'm going to change, now, especially now that I broke my ring gear, I'm going to change from 488 gears to 513 gears, and I'll stick with the Revolution gears on that. But I need to weld on new brackets, so there's a ton of stuff I need to do. My rear air locker has been intermittent lately. I pulled it completely apart last week. Everything seems to be fine, so I've been in contact with ARB, and by the way, their customer support is phenomenal. I'm kind of leaning towards it being a compressor problem, even though I have a new compressor or newer compressor. That may be part of my problem, so I got to go through that to rule that out or decide if that's indeed the issue. So anyway, I got a lot of stuff going on, and I'm trying to figure out, do I just call it a season and start doing my entire rebuild on a lot of stuff? I'm going to give the TJ a refresh as far as suspension, fix some steering. I got all sorts of banged up problems that I need to fix. So going to take a look at things, see what is truly going to be involved with it, and make a decision once I'm comfortable with what I see. So last Sunday, up on Trough Trail, broke the ring gear. And the sad thing is I had to use my cooler to catch all the gear oil so I could put it back in there. And this is kind of the remnants of what's left. We had to use the water bottles to get the gear oil back into the differential. Pull my ring gear out here. But as you can see, my ring gear did not like what had happened to it, so I gave up the ghost. So now I got to figure out what I'm going to do to get all that fixed. So in addition, my shop is in shambles right now, and I know, woe is me. However, I obtained a lot of welding stuff, a lot of stock material. I got a new welding table, so I have two of those now eating up space, but I have all this extra stock that I need to build a material rack for, so I can kind of get this stuff out of the way. Over there is the new axle that I'm going to build, cut off all those axles, add on those Artec brackets, and go to hydro assist. So that's going to take a bit of time, but I have to get everything cleaned up and get things figured out with that POS right there. So stay tuned, we'll see what I come up with. So I thought I'd start off with a damage assessment from this last trail run. Other than the major things like the ring gear, ton of rock rash this time. These wheels were relatively unscathed, and when you're looking at them, they got trashed pretty good. Didn't matter whether it's front or back, they all took some pretty good damage, which is awesome. So my brand new bumper, I tell you what, I didn't hit much with it, and it looks like I had a couple of hits on it, but that is it, and I'm good with that. I love the low profile of that bumper. It's not getting caught up on hardly anything at all. My exhaust, I'm gonna have to get in there and take a look at that. I know that got beat up pretty good. And then I believe my front bumper on a couple different occasions took some pretty decent hits, but it's exactly what it's there for, nothing that I'm worried about. All right, so now I got it up in the air. Start the front end. Mini skids did their job. They took a pretty good beating there. I believe my tie rod is bent. I have some shiny metal there where it was probably rubbing up against, so I'm gonna have to take a look at that. As you can see, it was taking a pretty good beating on what we were doing. And if you look down the edge here, let's see, yeah, you can tell that it's bent. It's just bent a little bit. It's Curry, I've bent it before, I'll bend it back again, not a big deal. If for some reason this other one breaks, I have another one sitting over here that I picked up off of Craigslist for cheap. Somebody just parting out something, so I decided to grab that just in case. Sway bar links bent out, it looks like a little bit. Let's see what else we have going on here. Control arms took a pretty good beating, but to be expected, not a big deal there. My drive shaft got hung up on something apparently, so I'm gonna have to kind of see if I can get this whole thing figured out from there to there. Didn't have any vibrations or anything, so I don't know that I'm worried about it that much, but it'd be nice to just get it back together the way it needs to be. Continue down this way. The rear end took a pretty good beating. Have a little bit of a bend to that shock there, but that's previous damage. Like I said, I'm working on doing a remount, a refresh on my suspension. I'm gonna be changing everything up anyway, so no big deal there. The diff definitely took a pretty good beating there, and then on this other side as well, you can see that it was dragging over quite a bit. Same thing with the axle tube, the sway bar mounts, but nothing that is to not be expected when you're off wheeling in the area that we're wheeling. Let's take a look at that exhaust. I know that got pushed up on that rock at one point. Yeah, that got beat up pretty good. And it vibrates up at the top through there. It's pinched in pretty tight, so I need to bend that back down. I don't know that I need to replace the exhaust. It's bent up pretty good, but still running fine, so we'll see. That might be a little bit on my further down to-do list once I do the whole refresh with everything. So overall, I'm pretty darn happy with this. It got us in some pretty good tight spots. Got us out of some pretty good tight spots, and we're able to limp it home, as I love doing that about Jeeps. If you break down, you can limp it home, and that's always a nice little reassurance you have when you're taking those trails if you don't have a trailer. So open up the diffs, take a look. So before I get into the diff to see if there's any damage in there, I just wanted you guys to take a look at this Barnett cover. I know a lot of people have talked about how much they love them. I'm in that boat, I absolutely love that thing. And if you look at this thing, used to have a straight ramp went down there, or down at that angle. And now, you can see how much this thing has been beaten up. It's caved in on a couple different sides, has some pretty good hits there. I'm starting to, let me see if I can get out in the light and give you a better look here. Starting to get separation on the bottom right there, so I'm probably looking to get a new diff cover now when I do my rebuild. But this front diff cover has taken an absolute beating for the last, almost, 8 or 10 years, whatever it's been. And it has not let me down. The thing has been phenomenal. The clearance when you're dealing with your tie rod has been great. Everything about this cover has been great. And it's just a stock cover with all that stuff built onto it. Now I know that Barnett has stopped building these because they're having a hard time finding the diff covers needed, so I'm cleaning something up here. So this number right there is what they need, and they can build you one. You can just send them a cover and they'll build you one. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's the 40869 number. Let me see if my other diff covers over here have something different on them. But there's certain covers they can use, there's certain ones they can't. That one has a 69 on it, and that's the only other Dana 30 I have right now. So anyway, if you're looking for a Barnett cover, they may be able to help you. Actually, I lied, I got another one over here. So this one here is a 4631-2. They wouldn't be able to use this one, and I don't know why that is. From my understanding, after talking to them, it has something to do with the jig that they put it in, the cover, there's just something different about it. So whatever, if you want to have them build you one, you can send them a cover, make sure it has a 40869 on it. They'll build it for you. Obviously call them first, and then they'll talk you through that. The other thing that I'm an absolute proponent on are these lube locker gaskets. These things have been great. There's no mess to clean up, no RTV to clean up. There's nothing to wait when you put it back on as far as wait time. That was critical when I was on the trail. We're already tired. It's already, dark out, and we're just not in the mood to deal with this stuff anymore. And you can put the lube locker gasket back in there, button it up, and roll right away. So always recommend those. So doing a little bit more inspection of everything. My splines on my chromo shafts are slightly bent. Not sure if that's enough to claim warranty on it or not, but I'll reach out to Revolution and see what they say. I'm probably not too worried about it at this point just yet. Not bad overall. I'll take the locker apart, do a good inspection on that, make sure I clean the internals real good. Does look like I might need a new seal housing if that's worn through. We'll see. Well, so after taking a look at everything, I think I'm just going to call it a day. I have to take the locker apart so I can make sure there's no internal damage there. I had a call on my drive shaft. Just going to leave it like this, think things through a little bit, and see where I want to take it from here.